So, if you are unaware, for whatever reason, Konami made changes to their tournament policy, penalty guidelines, rather. One of the updates was if you submit fraudulent proof of vaccination, you can be disqualified. The second one being that if you intentionally misgender someone, you can be disqualified. Say, for example, you sit down, and your opponent sits down moments later, and you call them a boy, when they're in fact a girl. So your opponent corrects you, saying, hey, I'm not a boy, I am in fact a girl, I use she, her pronouns. Or if your opponent says, I don't identify as he, him, I identify as they, them. The correct way to approach this is to say, I am sorry, I will address you as she, her, or they, them, or whichever pronouns they specify. The infraction occurs if you continue to call them he, him, intentional. If they have stated multiple times, I do not identify as he, him, I am she, her, or they, them, that's when the infraction occurs. And that it's on the same level of severity as racial slurs and sexual slurs and harassment, which is what it is. Where it should be. To me, this is a no-brainer, that it should be on the same level as racial slurs, as sexual slurs, and harassment. Of course. But of course, some people on Twitter don't agree, and that's why we're here. Now, to be fair, most of the comments that I have seen are in support of this new policy, but the ones that aren't in support are very much self-reporting. Here I have some of those tweets. And we're going to be looking over some of them. Just so it's out there, please don't go onto Twitter and harass any of these people. Don't try to fight harassment with harassment, please. 2023 and disqualifying people over masks. Pointless. I don't care about the vaccine. That's whatever. At least there's a reasonable argument for it. Masks are an overreach at this point. Almost no jurisdiction, business, gathering is still requiring them. Why Yu-Gi-Oh? If you go to a convention, chances are they're going to require a mask. And higher tier events like regionals and YCSs are effectively conventions. So naturally, Konami is going to implement mask policies for these events. We're talking about events where people from other states and sometimes other countries are going to just to attend. So the mask policy for these events makes sense. So you're disqualifying people for knowing that face masks do nothing to stop or prevent COVID-19, and you're disqualifying people for the thought crime failing the transgender mental gymnastics CAPTCHA. Like, I could go through the science of why masks work, but we're clearly this person is not interested in that. What do you mean by thought crime? If you intentionally call someone a boy when they have stated that they are in fact a girl, just to prove a point, like, that is harassment. That is harassment at that point. The point of this policy change is to lay out that, yes, this is considered harassment. If you continually call someone a boy when they have stated that they are a girl, I mean, by the point where it would get to that level, you have made it a point that you do not care. What this policy is basically saying is, no matter what your beliefs are, please stay respectful to your opponent. Massive L. I was told that trans people living their lives wouldn't affect me, but now it is, because misgendering can lead to a DQ, and yeah, this will be abused because there is no requirement for using different pronouns. Anyone can claim being misgendered and get a free win. Wrong form of the word there, but we're gonna ignore that for the more meaty stuff. Oh no, I can't just misgender people anymore and be disrespectful to my opponent? What a shame. I feel so bad for you. Must be real fucking tough for you. Huh. And you do know that lying is considered cheating and is punishable by being disqualified, right? If you regularly insult another player, it's a UC minor, which is a warning. If you call a chick a guy, you get DQ'd. Konami is creating a privileged class and dividing the player base based on something that is completely irrelevant to a card game. Insane. That is not considered a UC minor, that is considered a UC severe, which is under the same penalty as misgendering someone, getting disqualified. And if this is happening at your local store, that is between you and the store. That's in the hand of the store to get them banned or However, if this is at an event, you can bring it up to the head judge and tell them, hey, here's what's going on. This person, I feel harassed by this person. Yeah. How is Konami dividing players? Like, what? Just because they want to have their transgender players feel welcomed and accepted? How is that dividing people? How? All that they're saying is please be respectful to your opponent and not just constantly misgender them after they told you, hey, my gender is actually this. And what do you mean irrelevant to the game? Is harassment not relevant to the game, as we've previously discussed that it is? Intentionally misgendering another person is entirely abusable because half of these fucks can't decide which species they even are and take every opportunity to make it known they don't. I'm pretty sure being a boy or girl or non-binary are human and not another species. And as I said earlier, if your opponent attempts to abuse that, I mean, it's cheating. It is cheating if they try to abuse that, which is punishable by disqualification. Now, as I said before, this is not the role. This is the exception to the comments that I've been seeing over Twitter and Instagram. Most of the comments that I've seen are in support of this new policy change, which is good. But the people who are against this policy are very much self-reporting, and I expect them to get DQ'd at events. And as I said before, misgendering someone should be on the same level of racial slurs and sexual slurs and harassment, because that is what it is. It's harassment. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, let me know down below, along with anything that I may have missed. Until next time, my name is Vincent, and I am the Race Duelist. Goodbye.